Hey, how you doing? It is Andrew Hawks here. Of course, you can call me Doc Drew, coming to you as I often do, or as I have been for the last few days, obviously, at about 6:30 in the morning. Guys, this is going to change just a little bit moving forward because we're getting back on the road. So, if you're here for the first time, guys, head over to drewsdaily.com. You'll be able to find out more about who I am, what I do, and who I help. But basically, in a nutshell, I show people how to navigate the DeFi space in a friendly and safe way. And it's a big space. It's a big space. There's a lot to learn. There's a lot going on. But I can tell you what, if you take the time to learn it, it'll be worthwhile for you. So I want to say good morning or good afternoon or good evening, depending on where you're tuning in from the world. I understand, of course, being live streamed on Facebook, YouTube, and on TikTok. I gestured to TikTok like it was YouTube. I said YouTube. Anyway, doesn't matter. I understand that you could be anywhere in the world, and I appreciate that. So thanks for coming and having a coffee with me. I started out calling this coffee and crypto, which it is, but we're just here to have a bit of a chat. We are in an absolutely exciting time in the world right now. And I'll come back to something I started to say. I said about next week things will change a little bit. Now for me, it probably won't change too much because it'll still be about 6:30 in the morning that I will jump on and I'll do this because I've developed a little bit of a routine and I like the routine. I get up, meditate for 10 minutes. That's only just a new integration this week, which is it's been blissful. It's been wonderful. Although I made the mistake this morning, I got up and checked my phone before I meditated, and oh my goodness, I just woke up to fire. I was like, somebody's done something wrong. I had to fix it. I had to fix it right then and then. I probably didn't, but my mind, that's how it works, is like, oh shit, people will see this and they'll think that I fucked it up, and I didn't. So I fixed it. But anyway, that's a lesson for me. Don't go on your phone before you meditate and do the things that you need to do. So back to, hey, I see you guys joining in on TikTok. Thank you. I love the love. Thank you. I love the rose. Appreciate you there, guys. Really, really do. If you're tuning in on YouTube or Facebook, feel free to drop hearts or a fire or whatever you want to do. But it's great to see you all here so early in the morning. Again, it might not be early for you. It might be the end of the day. But my routine will pretty much stay the same. I'll be up, meditate. I'll go for a walk. I'll come back. I'll have my age mate. I'm taking age mate at the moment. It's so good. If you haven't seen the ads for that, there's heaps popping. Say age mate near your phone and you'll see ads pop up on Facebook. It's really, really good. Anyway, that aside, had that. I take this other nootropic stuff, had that. Got my water here because I've got to drink a gallon of water a day during 75 hard, which I'm on day 34. So I'm officially 11 days further than I was the last time I got it done. So I'm pretty excited about that. But then I come back, so my routine will stay pretty much the same, but my time zone will change. So next week, right, I've got a dragon. I don't know how that works, but that's pretty cool. Thanks, guys. Oh, where did it go? You guys can't see it on Facebook, but on TikTok, it looked wild. Thanks. That was cool. So my routine will pretty much stay the same, but my time zone, now I've got glasses. Yeah, what up? My time zone will change. So I will be, as of Tuesday next week, Tuesday night I fly to WA. I will be in Western Australia for literally 48 hours. That's literally all I'll be there for is 48 hours. So if you're in WA and you want to catch up, I will be in the main metropolis of Perth. Look me up, absolutely. Of course, you can get in touch if you haven't got my contacts, you can get in touch by going to drewsdaily.com. And of course, once you fill out the form there to get the Sovereign Wealth Kit, etc., then there is literally a WhatsApp link where you can message me. And it might be a robot that replies, but I still reply as well. That's just an autoresponder to say, hey, we've got your message. Thanks very much. We'll get back in touch with you real soon. So by all means, reach out. I would love to see you. So my time zone will change from there. We go to an undisclosed location at the moment. There's a couple of people know, but it is a secret. So we're not telling anyone just yet, but just safe to say that the time zone will change slightly going to there. So today we're just going to continue our conversation around coffee. We're definitely going to continue our conversation around coffee. You'd think that this had caffeine in it, but it doesn't. I don't know, I haven't drunk caffeine in quite some time. Well, since I was in Europe. I haven't drunk alcohol in 4 years, except for one beer that I had with my father for his birthday, his 79th birthday this year. And it was, I was like, you know what? I might not get the opportunity to have another beer with him on his birthday, so I'm going to do exactly that. So I had a beer with him on his birthday. It was one, and I'll be honest, it went straight to my head and I didn't enjoy it. So I just don't drink anymore. It's just, I'm too old for that shit. I know that sounds so defeatist. It's not. It's just a lifestyle choice. Right, so we're going to continue to talk about crypto. We will continue to talk a little bit about coffee too, because I love coffee. Even if it is decaf, people go, why do you drink decaf, Drew? What's the point? It's decaffeinated. And I'm like, yeah, but I like the flavor. Oh, okay. And if you've ever had bacon and eggs, black coffee is such the goods with bacon and eggs. If you don't eat bacon, hey, I'm sorry for you, but I understand where you're at in life and that's cool with you. Oh no, my internet connection is terrible. That's not good. I was in a place last week where it was freaking phenomenal. So I do apologize on YouTube and Facebook if the quality's not quite as good as we would like it. Maybe I should turn it off on my phone so I'm not streaming on that. Maybe just go that. Okay, and now we're on 4G on TikTok, so maybe we're freeing up some bandwidth. Right, so remember, like back in the days, and it's still very, very true, not right now, you know, we have to ask permission for everything. We have to ask for permission for a loan. If you're working for someone, then you have to ask permission to take time off to go for a holiday or whatever. Now, if you're smart about that, the way a lot of rosters work these days, you can actually leverage the shit out of that and have a pretty decent break, which is kind of cool. But you had to ask permission pretty much everything, right? Well, those days are kind of gone. I want you to just stop and think for a second, how many areas of your life still have or still run on a gatekeeper energy? Right, how many places, how many bottlenecks are in your life and business, or just in general, caused by you having to ask permission to do something? Now, I'm not talking about permission from your spouse or significant other. That's not permission, that's a discussion about the things you need to do or would like to do. And even with that, there's things that you, for yourself, should do regardless. You should consider, but there's things that you should do for yourself, for your mental health, regardless of what your significant other, spouse, whatever says. If you think there's something you need to do, like spiritually, physically, mentally, whatever, and I'm not talking about going out and being stupid or wild. I'm not talking about going out and having a big night on the piss. That's just something completely different. That's disrespectful. Okay, yeah, you want to have a talk about that. Sometimes those nights happen just by accident. I get it. I've been there. But I'm talking about the gatekeeper stuff where you literally have to ask for permission to do something. Have you ever seen The Shawshank Redemption with Morgan Freeman and, of course, Tim Robbins in it? Great movie. I think it was 95 when it came out. So, oh my goodness, it's 30 years old, that movie. Far out. So, in the movie, obviously, it's in a prison, and Red is the guy that can get things for you. But when he gets out, he's working at a convenience store, like at a supermarket, what we would call here a supermarket, but a convenience store, whatever. And he literally puts his hand up to ask if he can go to the toilet because he's been used to doing that his whole institutionalized life inside the prison. Well, the things that you don't need to ask out of permission, but that's the point, right? Is we're in a society where we've had to ask for everything so much. So what still runs on gatekeeper energy for you? What are still those areas in life where you're still waiting for permission? Because I'll tell you something for free. No one's coming to save you. No one's coming to save you. You got to save yourself. And I think in the Motivation Myth, which still isn't published, by the way, so if you're looking for it, you won't find it. But the Motivation Myth that I wrote, there's literally a section in one of the chapters that says no one's coming to save you. So you've got to deploy your self-rescue kit, which I'm pretty sure is labeled inside of the Motivation Myth on how to do that and what that looks like. So no one's coming to save you. You have to save yourself. Now, the beauty of where we are in the DeFi space, you might go, well, what's this got to do with blockchain, Drew? Well, it's got everything to do with blockchain. And the reason it has is because we're moving to that permissionless place where you don't have to ask a bank what you can do with your money, where you don't have to ask a government, where you don't have to ask anyone. You can just, once you're into the decentralized space, you're into the decentralized space. We're going to talk about there's been some massive changes and some massive movement just recently. And it's the 4th of July here in Australia. Obviously, it's the 4th of July in the US tomorrow. So it'll be the 5th for us. But there's meant to be some big changes happening in the US on the 4th of July. Obviously, it's Independence Day, ties in quite beautifully for that. But we need to keep a keen eye on the space because there are some big changes. And they're going to be very exciting changes, but a lot of people have misunderstood them. So we might just unpack that a little bit further down the track as well. But trust has been rebuilt in code, not promises. So how many times have you seen a politician elected and say, on promises to say, hey, we're going to do X, Y, Z. If we get elected, we're doing this, 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 and this. And they get elected only to do none of it. Sadly, that's not the case in Australia. The Labor government said that they do this, this, and this, and they're absolutely doing that and destroying Australia. But that's another topic entirely that I don't really want to get involved with. I'll just say nothing and look away, like most other people, right? Anyway, so smart contracts and transparency are replaced. Just trust us with verify yourself. Literally, you can look into the code. You don't have to be able to write code. You can see what the code executes. If you're struggling with how to read what a contract says, copy it and put it into ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini or whatever your favorite AI engine is and say, please explain this to me like I'm 5. And it'll give you the summary, the TLDR, the too long didn't read. It'll give you the summary to put into one place and give you an understanding, explain it like you're a 5-year-old. People miss that little nuance that just makes it that much easier to help you understand things. You can be completely self-sufficient. I spoke about teaching myself how to write code when I first got to Australia with the shirt on my back. And I did that through the YouTube University, right? Through free resources. Well, there's still free resources available. And in fact, they're getting better and better and better. So jump in and utilize it. Find out what the contracts are. That's how you can verify it yourself. It's pretty simple. Now, if you've ever been burned because you trusted the wrong person or system, then, it makes you just that little bit more cautious, doesn't it, next time? I have a community of people that I love and support, and I've said it before that a rising tide raises all boats, but we can't do anything about the boats with the holes in it, which is the mindset stuff. But a lot of them have been in situations where they have been burnt and where they've led other people to a place where they've been burnt too. And look, I've been in that place myself, and it's not a very nice place. And the reason I say it's not a very nice place is because you feel very, very responsible for them. And society will make it so that you beat yourself up and blame yourself about it. But realistically, when you look into it a little bit deeper, you realize that you've done things from the right place. You've done things with integrity. You've done things with the right intent. Now, that doesn't make it easier, but it does allow you to understand where you've been at. So why am I saying all this about being burnt? Is because the community of people that I talk with, or that I lead, that I instruct, that I mentor, however you want to put that, I always maintain that it's not the belief in something else, and it's not the trust in something else, because that something else will come and go. Getting less and less likely in the DeFi space because it's getting better and better and being built on more robust protocols that are making it better for you and me to be able to move forward, which is magic, right? So it's not the trust in the external, it's actually the trust in here, the trust in yourself that makes the difference. I don't even check that. Is that working? Yeah, that's good. It's the trust in yourself that makes the difference. Do you believe that you're a good person? Do you believe that you do things with integrity? Do you believe you do things with the right intent? Do you believe you do things with all of the information that is available to you at the time, based on and make decisions based on that and the best knowledge that you have? Well, of course you do. If you trust that, and if you believe that, then it doesn't matter what the noise is outside. You can move through it with some sort of power and integrity, which I think is pretty cool. Oh, now we've got. Excuse me. You'd think that I'd be a little bit clearer by now. Anyway. So ownership is shifting, really. If we're looking at the space that we're in, the space that we play in, and I'm talking about the space that I'm playing in, which is the DeFi space, And I'm there very deliberately. Now, I'll speak about when I go to drewsdaily.com, of course. Guys, if you just joined us, head over to drewsdaily.com. You can grab yourself the Sovereign Wealth Kit or the DeFi checklist. And then, obviously, once you're through that, you can actually message me. And there's a couple of people that I do need to get back to because we've had heaps and heaps of messages. I do appreciate you all, 100%. Thank you. And I will be personally responding to all of those. But I've chosen this space deliberately because it gives me the options and the freedom that I would like. And that also comes through entrepreneurship. Now, not everyone's cut out to be an entrepreneur. Hell, I'm not even sure that I'm an entrepreneur. I just throw things up and see if they work. And if it doesn't work, I move to the next, and just keep going. But I don't let the failure from last week stop me from where I am right now, which is what a lot of people do. So this isn't meant to be about mindset today, but obviously that sort of layers in. But ownership's shifting from what you have to what you control, and that is an entrepreneur's mindset. Now, as an entrepreneur, one of the first things I was taught is you control everything, but own nothing. And what do I mean by that? It means that, this laptop that I'm on, I control it. This is not a good example because I do actually own it, but a property, for example. I control the property. Hey, Butang, how you doing, brother? I control the property. No one can take it. I receive the proceeds from it, but I don't own it. It's not in my name. I'm the beneficiary of it, but it's not in my name. Why is that important? Because as an entrepreneur, if you're going to try things, sometimes they don't always work out. And I've experienced this personally, right, in my personal life. Back in New Zealand, back in Christchurch, I had a franchise hair salon, I had a cafe, and of course, everything was in my name. I had personal guarantees. It sent me over the edge. It put me to the wall because everything was in my name. Now, I'd started to establish the structures, but they weren't mature enough. So I didn't make that same mistake again. The structures that I have here have been matured, are matured and have been long enough. So I can now confidently go into another venture. I wouldn't ever put a personal guarantee up again. And if I can't get it, Lana, I love the zeros. I can't drink those at the moment, but I do love the zeros because because of the sugar that's in them. Just with 75 hard and the commitment I've made there. But anyway, the structures are mature here. And I would never ever, if I can't get a deal without putting a personal guarantee up, then I'm not going to get into that deal. It's pretty much that simple because I don't want to be on the hook. So I want to control, but I don't want to own. DeFi makes that possible for you as well. Because particularly if you're thinking of a complete DeFi protocol where you have a non-custodial wallet, meaning that you're in control of your keys, you're in control of your seed phrase, your wallets, there's no middleman, there's just you and the bankless or whoever. That is you in control, and no one can take it from you because where does it show up? How do they know it's yours? They don't. And that's the trap people fall into with KYCing for central KYC, know your customer, for centralized exchanges. Now, I'm not saying that that's totally bad. Sometimes that's a necessary evil. But just do it in a way that you protect yourself. And I'm not sure how well you can protect yourself on a centralized exchange other than bringing your funds off it and putting it into a hard wallet. So Web3 is not about having a bank account. It's just about owning the keys. And we've gone over this ad nauseum for the last couple of weeks while I've been doing Drew's Daily here. Goting saying crypto is beyond currencies. He's right. And of course, I know you're a big fan of XLM and XRP as well. People will have their views on those, and people are entitled to their views. I have my own views on them, and I think they're going to do what they're going to do. I actually think XLM is probably going to be a big part of the new financial system for the bankless, for the everyday blue collar workers like us. So I'm kind of excited about that. So when's the last time you thought you owned something, but you couldn't actually access or control it? And I'll give you a real good example of this, and it's a real example, and it's true today. Oop. Apparently my calendar thinks it's time to chime in. And it's very real today, is your money is in a bank account. And you make the mistake of thinking that it's still your money. It's not. And I've said this before, and it's one of my bugbears, it really is. You are an unsecured creditor. What does that mean? Well, it means you're the last to get paid if if something goes awry at the bank. You're an unsecured creditor. And if you try to get that money back out, you're going to get 100 different questions, maybe not 100, but 20 different questions as to what you want the money for. And I think I've already said it, there was a really good example of a dude here in Australia. And guys, I don't live in Australia anymore. I'm literally just here for an event that was on this month, and then we're off again. Literally continuing to travel around the world. And I'm so very grateful for that. And I'm so grateful for the people that have joined us on our journey, virtually, physically, mentally, spiritually. So thank you guys, and send you love. But the point is, this dude went to the CommBank to get, I think it was $6,000 out. Might have been 10,000. The figure is arbitrary. I'll give you another example in a second too. The figure is arbitrary, but the point is he was asked 25 different questions, what is the money for, and dot, dot, dot. And he came up with the funniest answers. He said, I'm actually getting my butthole bleached. Just to embarrass the people behind the counter. And why not? They're asking rude, intrusive questions. It's none of their business what you spend your money on. But that's the point. You think you own your money in the bank when actually you can't really do anything with it without their permission to say, oh, okay, we'll let you spend your money here. Did they help you make it? Why are they giving you any direction on how you can spend it? Now, the other example, local girl, Queensland girl, lovely. She hit the news probably 18 months ago for literally was on 9, I'm pretty sure, for closing her accounts at CommBank because CommBank wouldn't let her take her money out. She said, okay, cool, I'll just close all my accounts, thanks. I have it all now in cash. There's nothing CommBank can do about that. They can't go, oh, you can't close your accounts. Yes, she can. She has the right to do that, and then she has the right to take all of her money out of it. That's an extreme case, but it's not the only case that I know of that people have done it. So crypto, the DeFi, blockchain, Web3, it gives you the ability to navigate and skirt that so that you remain in control. And that to me is the key. Again, you don't have to own everything, but you do want to control it. Now, just carrying on here, Web3 isn't, hold on. Web3 isn't separate from real life, it's a mirror. It shows what we've allowed and what we've ignored. So when you start getting into the space, you realize there's a whole heap of different things available to you. Now, this is probably a good time to chime into what happened in the States just a few weeks ago with the passing of the Genius Act. Now, there's a lot of people, particularly in the freedom space, that go, oh, that's a terrible thing. It is and it isn't. There's both sides to it, obviously. If you're looking at it from a pure depending on what lens you look through. If you look through a lens that if they regulate crypto, then everything's going to turn to shit. If they regulate the space, then yeah, it could be, because you could turn around, you could say, okay, well, the Genius Act now paves the way for countries to be able to implement a CBDC, a central bank digital currency. And we've spoken about that before, where a central bank digital currency is literally programmable money. And you can already start to see different things where they're going, oh, well, flights are a really good example. Would you like to offset your carbon footprint? It'll only cost you $12 and blah, 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 blah. Okay, cool, whatever. No, because personally, I don't subscribe to the climate change theory. I think it's manipulated and man-made, but that's just my theory. Everyone's entitled to them. And the same with these people with the Genius Act. Now, if that's the way that it goes, then yeah, absolutely, it's not so good. And I would recommend not trying to be in that space. But the flip side of it is that it opens it up for more and more DeFi protocols to be able to operate inside of a regulatory framework, still with no middleman. They can still be permissionless, and that's kind of important. But it also paves the way to make it just that little bit safer for the people who are just getting started in the DeFi space. And people go, well, are you pure DeFi really? I mean, are you a realist? Are you a purist? Because if we're allowing them to have control, then that defeats the purpose. Yeah, I'm not saying we should give them control. You shouldn't cede control, but you should be aware of what's there. Look at that, more calendar stuff. Go away. But you should be aware of what that is and what it looks like. Now, there's arguments, as I said, for both sides, but what it also does is it brings the ability for more of those DeFi protocols to come into the space, for more of the stable coins, and it really is, it's a stable coin legislation. That makes it easier for you to be able to transfer funds, and inevitably stable coins will be the reserve currency. Now, they won't be like the last reserve currency we've had for the last 60, 70 odd years, which is the US dollar, is not backed by anything. It's not backed by gold. It's not backed by anything at all other than the promise of, oh, we say it's worth this much. Our economy is strong, so therefore, yeah, okay, cool, I get it. But while you continue to print $1 trillion every 100 days, this is when I'm talking specifically about the US, and why do I speak a lot about the US is because they're one of the biggest economies, particularly in the Western world, and they have a knock-on effect for every other country that works with them. Australia is a good example. New Zealand's another good example. I use those two because I've lived in both those countries. So, yeah, I get it in that sense. Man, why is this? Oh, I know what it is. No, I'm just going to have to keep putting up with that. I do apologise, guys. Guys, if you're just joining us, then head over to drewsdaily.com. You can find out more about me, about who I am, who I help. And you can also get the sovereign wealth sheet and the DeFi checklist. So that is really quite distracting. That is on, isn't it? It is now. Don't know why it wasn't before, but anyway. So yeah, and look, guys, if you want to know more about who I am or who I help, then I help blue-collar workers get into the DeFi space in a safe and effective way. Be able to dip your toe into it, be able to show you how to bridge both sides, and to show you how to protect. And none of this is financial advice, by the way, because they're not financial products. But I'll show you how to protect that and how to structure yourself in a way that you minimize your obligations to anyone else. Let's just put it that way. And again, not financial advice at all. So now what are the patterns that you keep repeating in your life? Is it scarcity? Are you always finding yourself week to week going, shit, we haven't got enough money this week? You know, I found myself having a conversation with Sarah yesterday because it was time to book our flights, and she's like, oh, I'm stressed because I was like, why are you stressed for? We got this, and this. She goes, well, I didn't know that. And it's like, well, ask. It's there. It's there for us all to see, and it's all transparent because it's all on chain. Not that you guys would know that because you don't know what my wallet address is, or maybe you do. No, you don't. But the thing is, where have you shown, or where has scarcity continue to show up in your life? Are you waiting for someone to save you? Because as I said right near the start of the stream, no one's coming to save you. You have to save yourself. You literally have to save yourself. Hey, now guys, this is, I just literally had a thought. On Sunday night, Australian Eastern Standard Time, 7:30 p.m, I will be running a hot seat with the one and only Bruce Hughes. If you don't know who Bruce is, he's a leading tech advisor on some very big projects, but one very cool one that I'm involved with. But more to the point, he's got a wealth of knowledge in the DeFi space, in the decentralized space. He's lived unbanked for the last 7-8 years. So he knows a thing or two. It's definitely going to be a great live stream. It is Sunday night, 7:30 p.m, Australian Eastern Standard Time, and it will be streamed on YouTube. And so if you're watching on YouTube, thanks. Hey, how you doing? And it will also be streamed on Facebook. It probably won't be on TikTok. I do apologize. I've looked at the streaming services to try and get that set up, and I just don't think it's, for the time it's going to take me, I just don't think that it's something that's going to happen. So I do apologize in that sense, ladies and gents. And guys, if you are just joining us, head over to drewsdaily.com and grab yourself the Sovereign Wealth Kit or the DeFi checklist, whichever page you land on. If you want the other one, then by all means reach out and I will sort that out for you as well. No problems there. Just moving over slightly. Hey, on TikTok, I hope you're doing well. Hey, there's a few people enjoying there. It's great to see you guys there. Thank you. There was some cool stuff going on before with filters and stuff, but I'm not sure what happened with that anyway. It's all good. So, sovereignty is a design choice. Waiting for someone to save you, outsourcing your voice. I mean, you're literally giving your voice away if you're not standing up. In the last 5 years, particularly from 2024 to the end of 23, from 2020 to the end of 23, not so much in the last two, but there's definitely echoes of what's happened. But in those 3 years between 2020 and 2023, it was very easy to see which ones, or those of us who wanted to be our own people, to be our own sovereign self. It's probably not the best way to put it, But it was very clear. There was a clear line of delineation to show, hey, these people know who they are, what they allowed, and what they will accept. And these ones are just sheep that'll go on and blindly believe anything that they've been told. And look, right or wrong doesn't matter. I'm not saying that those people are right. I'm not saying that the sheep are wrong. I'm not saying the other people are right. It is what it is. It's your perception of that, of course, that makes it, because there's no good and bad. There is only what is, right? There's no black, there's no white. It's just what is. There is a balance and harmony in everything in life. So you've got to find that and what works for you. And I get it. But what happens when you break the pattern of that? Let's say that you're one of those people that did go along with everything the mainstream media said, because why would they lie to you? And that's not a bad place to be. I was there years ago myself. When I served in the military, I believed everything that came out of the media. Oh, yep, well, not everything. I'll give you an example. There was a deployment to, I can't even remember where it was now. Anyway, there was a deployment that left, it might have been to the Yugoslavia region. Might have been, but anyway, there was a deployment that left Auckland, and the manifest on the Hercules said that there was 20 New Zealand Defence Force personnel on it, armed Defence Force personnel that were going. Now, I knew for a fact that there was only 6. When they were talking about that, they were talking about the SAS going in. There was only 6. So 6 out of 20, there's 14. That means that 14 people were already in theatre. Now, what was released on the news was, oh, yeah, 20 people deployed to blah, 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 blah. But the manifest literally said there was 6 people on it, but the news said there was 20. So that meant there was already 14 people in theatre, in that theatre of operation. So I started to look at that and go, well, okay, they're really only telling us on the news what we need to hear or what they want us to hear. So it did start a whole heap of questions for me moving down the line. So coming back to where I was at, what I said, maybe those things that happened over the last 3 years have maybe caused you to question, and that's okay. You should question everything in life. And don't just believe anything blindly that I'm saying. Go and do your own research. There's plenty of evidence out there to show you exactly what's going on. But if you are here for the first time, go to drewsdaily.com, grab yourself the Sovereign Wealth Kit, find out a little bit more about it. Send me a WhatsApp message from there and say good day. I'd love to chat. I really would. Always do. I don't know if you can tell. But I do love coffee too, so we could have virtual coffee, whatever. And when I say virtual coffee, we could be on the end of end of a Zoom like this, and we're each drinking coffee. Just about lost my cup then. Holy shit balls. So sovereignty is a design choice. And I don't use that word sovereignty lightly, because, you know, the whole sovereign movement is vilified, particularly here in Australia. But all that really means, if we break it down what it is, it means that you want to make the decisions for yourself. And it's your right to do so, regardless of what some government says, regardless of what some 3-letter organisation says. It is your right to do so, and that's essentially what sovereignty is. It's the choice over your own bodily autonomy. It's the choice over what you do with your finances, what you do with your business, what you do with your family, how you travel, where you travel. I remember getting stopped coming back from Ethiopia 7 years ago, maybe 7 years ago, and I hadn't had a yellow fever shot because I don't need it. I did have it when I was in the military. I had my full protocol of vaccinations when I was in the military, so I was young and stupid, needed the money. But I remember being stopped at customs here in Australia, and they said, "Oh, you've been to Ethiopia in the last 7 days?" I was like, "Yep, sure have." Well, where's your yellow fever vaccination certificate? I said, "I haven't got one." What? You haven't got one? It's like, well, I guess. Have you ever been vaccinated for it? I was like, well, I guess. I was in the military. I had a full protocol vaccination, so I guess I probably did. She's like, oh, well, look, if you had yellow fever, you'd probably be dead by now anyway. So just go on. But the fact is, you know, they were going to hold me up. Now, whether you're pro or anti, it doesn't matter. That's not what the argument is here. The argument is about your choice. And if you're pro, great. I support your choice to go and do that. If you're anti, great. I support your choice to stay where you are in that sense. That's what sovereignty is about you being able to make the choice, not about being coerced into something. And DeFi gives you the ability to do that. How does it give you the ability? Because it gives you choices. If you get into the space and you work the protocols like the DeFi yield protocols, and of course I was listening to something this morning, in which obviously we were talking about they were talking about the Genius Act inside of all that as well, where DeFi yields now are looking at 20% per annum, and the question was raised, hey, do you think that, again, not financial advice, do you think that 20% per annum is sustainable? And of course, from the little that we've been told, like, because we're never educated on how to break free from the matrix, were we? Because they don't want us getting out of that cage. That we were never educated on how to really manage our money to grow it. Now, a lot of people have learnt how to do that, but not a huge percentage. I mean, I would say less than 15% of the world's population. If we look at it, less than 1% is incredibly wealthy. 5% are okay, and they'll be all right. These statistics haven't changed in 100 years, believe it or not. But the rest of us are still going to be struggling because we were never ever taught to do that. So they were talking about, that mindset around, oh, do you think that 20% is sustainable? And the answer come back was, well, I actually think that 20% is probably kind of low. And if you understand the DeFi space, that's very true. It is kind of low. I've seen a protocol where you're getting up to 120% per annum. It fluctuates for sure, but 120% per annum, as opposed to the measly 5% or 4% that's less than inflation that you're going to get in a bank. Again, not financial advice. And yes, I clearly dislike the banking system. But it serves a purpose for some people. And I do think that to operate until you're at that level of wealth where it really doesn't matter, you kind of, and you need to operate in both, because there's things that you can do inside the public system that you can't do if you're completely out of it, if that makes sense. Or it does make sense if you thought about it. Anyway, sovereignty it's literally a design choice. It's the choices that you make. It's, what does this look like for me and my family? What are the things that I can do? What are the things that I can put in place that will assist me to break free from where I am, or assist me to carry on with what I want to do in my life? Guys, if you're just joining me, we're getting close to wrapping up, but head over to drewsdaily.com, grab yourself the Sovereign Wealth Sheet, the DeFi checklist, and let's have a chat. I'd love to talk about what it is that you want to achieve in life. But most people don't stumble into freedom. It's by design. They literally create it. They build it. But you've got to start thinking about that. What is it that you want? What are the things that you'll no longer tolerate? What are the boundaries that you'll give yourself and people around you so that you can move forward? It's the same with your health, with your finances, with your boundaries. You build it. Recently, I've neglected myself. And that's why I went, okay, I'm going to do 75 hard again. 75 hard is not, people go, oh yeah, it's a fitness program. No, it's not. It's a complete mind reset. Because, and my good mate Fraser Brooks says, inconvenience exposes commitment. It creates inconvenience in your life. That's what 75 hard is designed to do. For 75 days, designed to create inconvenience in your life, because you've got to do 2 workouts a day that are of 45 minutes duration. At least one of which must be outdoors. Rain, hail, or shine, it doesn't matter. You've got to do it. And they can't be done back to back. So they have to be done at separate times. Like one in the morning, so I do one in the morning and one in the afternoon. Cool. That creates inconvenience because now I've got to juggle other things to make it happen. So that's step 1. Step 2, you got to drink a gallon of water. You might go, oh well, a gallon of water, that's 3.8 litres for us in New Zealand and Australia, or anyone using the metric system. That's a lot of water. Most people go, oh, you need to drink at least 1.5 to 2 litres of water a day to be healthy. True, but if you're drinking a gallon of water a day, you're flushing toxins out of your body like you never believe. So that's the second part. It is a bit of an inconvenience to try and drink a gallon of water. It's not as easy as you think. I used to literally walk around with a gallon jug, people go, man, your drink bottle's so big. It's like, yep, but at least I know exactly where I'm at and how much I've drunk and how much I've got to go. Whereas this, sometimes you forget if you're only using them in a bottle, and I'm not an advocate for using the store-bought bottles, it's just convenience at the moment. But then there's that. Then you've got to read 10 pages a day. So you're literally adding, you can't listen to it, otherwise you could do that while you were walking, couldn't you? Or you were doing your workout. You've got to read 10 pages a day. You've got to stick to a specific diet, and that's why I can't have those the zeros that were mentioned in TikTok a little bit earlier. It's because there's sugar in that. You've got to stick to a diet. My diet is the carnivore diet. What's a kind of a hybrid of the carnivore diet. Cool, awesome. So you've got to do two workouts, drink a gallon of water, read 10 pages. You've got to take a progress picture every day. Sometimes you forget to do that. Well, if you forget to do it, then you get back to day one. So my point is, I was in a position where I wasn't very healthy. So I needed to change that. I was carrying a lot more weight than I should have been. I've dropped a lot. I'm feeling trim, I'm feeling better. I'm way more alert than I have been in a long time. That's probably why we're doing the lives, right? Funnily enough, 75 Hard coincided with the first day I was meant to launch Drew's Daily, and the internet was so shit that I just didn't do it. But I did carry on with 75 Hard. But it's about creating inconvenience in your life. That's what it's designed to do. It's to disrupt it. How committed are you to doing something? What happens when you break that pattern? So I'm building the boundaries that I want, that I will accept. I'm building the health and the lifestyle that I want. I'm not waiting for someone to come and do it for me. And DeFi allows that to happen in a private space where no one can necessarily watch. Yeah, I'm being pretty public and I'm on here, but I am definitely an advocate for the DeFi protocols, for the DeFi space, and for making your own decisions. Not being beholden to a 3-letter organization that you didn't vote for, who are unelected. Like, let's think about that. Let's think logically about that. It's not too difficult to see what's going on when you really think about it. So, what would your life look like if you were sovereign by design? How would things be different for you? How would you act? What other things could you do for other people if you chose to do it? What other things would you want to do for other people and for yourself and for your family? But what would life look like if it was done by design? What would it be for you? These are the questions you have to ask. And remember, I'm not boohooing a job. I could never ever go and work for someone again. I just couldn't do it. And I had a conversation actually with a very good friend of mine on Anzac Day. Now, if you're not in New Zealand or Australian, you might not know what Anzac Day is. And Anzac simply stands for Australia New Zealand Army Corps. And that legend was born on the 25th of April 1915. That was when the Anzac legend was born. Australian New Zealand Army Corps landed on the shores of Gallipoli, on the Gallipoli Peninsula, and entered into one of the most brutal and unrewarding campaigns in history. Certainly for our history, for New Zealand and Australia. Now, so on Anzac Day, I was in New Zealand, I was in my hometown, and I caught up with an old friend from my hometown who's now a WO1, a warrant officer, Class 1 in New Zealand Army, and she's in Director of Career Management. And I said, oh, do you think think I could get back in with a commission? Just kind of as a off-the-cuff joke. And she said, yeah, absolutely. She said, we're real short-staffed across this, and this. I said, oh, so I could come back in as a captain? And she goes, yeah. And keep in mind, I was Air Force, not Army, and I was specifically asking about Army. She goes, yeah, absolutely. I'm sure, because of where you've been, what you've done, I'm sure we could get you in. We get you the interviews, and I'm sure that we'd probably get you into the ROSB, which is the Officer Selection Board for the Army. So very, very interesting. But I could never, ever go and work for someone again. I just couldn't. I like my freedom too much. I like the fact that it's 7:15 here in the morning. I'm sitting here drinking a coffee with you. And realistically, I've got nowhere else that I need to be. There's work I've got to get done, absolutely. There's a couple of meetings I've got today. Actually, one of the meetings I've got today is with old mate, my mate Paul. He's the guy that's got the Keep Your Crypto Safe system. So we will look at getting him on a hot seat in the distant future or in the near future. in the not too distant future is where my mind was going with that. So we'll keep looking at that too, but I'm catching up with him a little later today. But if you are just joining us, we are almost finished. Just head over to drewsdaily.com. You can grab the Sovereign Wealth Kit. You can grab your DeFi checklist. And obviously you can reach out and have a chat to me as well. And I'd love to hear from you. I really, really would. So the last thing I want to leave you with before I sign off is that same question again. What would your life look like? What would your life look like if it was sovereign and by design? If you were making your own choices, if you didn't have to ask permission for anything? How would life be different for you? Because everything starts with a question. Everything. The thoughts that we have, the life that we live. You are where you are right now because of a thought that you had from a question that you asked. Now, you might not have asked it verbally like I have. It might have been an unconscious question that come up in your head, and that's based on past conditioning, past things that have happened to you. But where would you be right now if you were building your life by design? What is it that you would be doing differently? What is it that you desire? What is it that you want out of life? Now, I don't mean from a selfish point of view. You've got to be a little selfish, absolutely, because if you're not, people will take advantage of you. People will use everything that you've got. Trust me, I've been there too. So you do have to put your boundaries up, otherwise people will just keep exploiting them. But what does your life look like? Now, as I always finish off, guys, you create everything in your life. And we've literally just spent the last 5-10 minutes talking about that. You create everything in your life, so you might as well go and create something freaking amazing. Create something you can be proud of. Create something your children are going to be proud of. Create something your parents are going to be proud of. Sadly, my mum passed away almost 11 years ago and didn't get to see the success that I now enjoy. I didn't get to show her, to show her. I'm going to show you. I didn't get to show her. I'm not sure she would have ever understood it anyway, but these are things. So what does your life look like? I just wish that I'd done it sooner. Sure, the DeFi wasn't around, but my mindset was. Well, my desire was. I've had to work on mindset, which is something you continually work on. Anyway, so you create everything in your life. You might as well go and create something freaking amazing. It is Friday, so I won't be here tomorrow. I will be back Sunday night. We're doing a hot seat, as I said, 7:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. The one and only Bruce Hughes is going to be on with me. It'll be live streamed on YouTube and on Facebook. Sorry, TikTok, it won't be there. If you do want to find out, or if you do want to watch it, then follow me on YouTube at Andrew Hawks Online. Same on TikTok. Guys, if you're not on TikTok and watching, go to TikTok, Andrew Hawks Online, and Instagram, the same thing, at Andrew Hawks Online. So love to see you following on my socials, chiming in. If there's something that hits the spot with you guys, let me know. But other than that, have a freaking amazing weekend. Make it a freaking amazing weekend. Make it a freaking amazing life. Why not? And I will be back Monday, probably around the same time, around 6:30. He kōnei rā. Goodbye. Ka kite anō. I will see you again. See, I was going to press my screen on my laptop. That won't finish the live stream, but it will on TikTok when I come back to you. All right, guys. See ya.